A dangerous choice. RFK Jr. and the global health threat. America has a new villain. No, it's not another superhero movie, it's scarier, it's Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and he's been nominated as U.S. Health Secretary. This isn't a joke, this is serious. Kennedy has spent years spreading dangerous misinformation about vaccines. He's like that friend who tells you vaccines cause autism. Except, he has a much bigger platform, and his words have real-world consequences. Remember the measles outbreak in Samoa? Yeah, Kennedy's anti-vaccine rhetoric played a role in that tragedy. People died, John, died, because they were misled by this man's dangerous claims. This isn't just an American problem. Kennedy's appointment sends a dangerous message to the world, that America, a supposed leader in global health, is now embracing pseudoscience over evidence-based policy. The peddler of fear RFK Jr.'s legacy of anti-vaccine activism is a complex and controversial one. Let's be clear, RFK Jr. is not a doctor, a scientist, or a public health expert. He's a lawyer and an environmental activist, which in this case is about as useful as a screen door on a submarine. His background in law and environmental issues does not equip him with the expertise needed to make informed statements about vaccines. He's made a career out of fear-mongering, claiming that vaccines cause autism, a claim repeatedly debunked by actual scientists. The scientific community has conducted numerous studies, all of which have found no credible link between vaccines and autism. He even blames a flu shot for his own son's neurological disorder, despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary. The man's own family has publicly denounced his views on vaccines, highlighting the internal conflict and the extent of his controversial stance. His organization, Children's Health Defense, is basically a misinformation factory, churning out anti-vaccine propaganda disguised as concern for children's health. They use emotionally charged language and misleading statistics to sway public opinion. They're like the big tobacco of the 21st century, peddling lies for profit and putting lives at risk. Just as big tobacco once misled the public about the dangers of smoking, RFK Jr.'s organization spreads falsehoods about vaccines. This isn't about free speech, it's about public health. The misinformation they spread has real-world consequences, leading to lower vaccination rates and outbreaks of preventable diseases. And RFK Jr. is a public health hazard. His influence has contributed to vaccine hesitancy, which endangers not only those who choose not to vaccinate, but also the broader community. Public health officials and scientists continue to fight against this tide of misinformation, working tirelessly to educate the public about the safety and efficacy of vaccines. Vaccines have been one of the most successful public health interventions in history, saving millions of lives and preventing countless cases of disease. The spread of misinformation undermines these efforts and puts everyone at risk. It's crucial to rely on credible sources and scientific evidence when making health decisions. In the end, the legacy of RFK Jr.'s anti-vaccine activism is one of harm and confusion. It's a stark reminder of the power of misinformation and the importance of standing up for science and public health. Samoa's tragedy, a case study in vaccine misinformation. In 2019, the small island nation of Samoa was hit with a devastating measles outbreak. Over 5,700 people got sick. 83 people died, many of them children. What happened? Well, vaccine coverage in Samoa had plummeted. Why? Because of anti-vaccine misinformation, some of which was spread by guess who? That's right, our friend RFK Jr. He had visited Samoa just months before the outbreak, peddling his anti-vaccine rhetoric. His visit fueled the flames of fear and doubt, leading some parents to refuse to vaccinate their children. The result? A preventable disease ran rampant, claiming innocent lives. This is the human cost of misinformation. This is what happens when people like RFK Jr. are given a platform. A world on edge global sake of global health and safety. Section 5. America's retreat, the erosion of U.S. global health leadership under Trump. This didn't happen overnight. The Trump administration has been systematically dismantling America's global health infrastructure for years. They've withdrawn from the World Health Organization, the very organization leading the fight against global pandemics. They've slashed funding for global health programs. They've appointed unqualified cronies to key positions. And now this. The appointment of RFK Jr. is the final nail in the coffin of America's global health leadership. It's a dangerous and irresponsible move that will have far-reaching consequences for years to come.
Section 6. The gag order returns, Trump's assault on reproductive rights and global health. As if RFK Jr. wasn't bad enough, we also have Trump's other greatest hits to worry about, like the global gag rule, which prohibits U.S. funding for organizations that provide abortions or even information about abortion. This policy has been shown to increase maternal deaths and unsafe abortions, particularly in developing countries. It's cruel, it's ineffective, and it's back. Trump's obsession with undermining reproductive rights is bad enough domestically. But when you export these policies to the world, you're putting women's lives at risk on a global scale.
Section 7. Chronic concerns, RFK Jr. OS fixation on processed foods and chronic diseases. Now, in the interest of fairness, RFK Jr. isn't wrong about everything. He's right about the dangers of processed foods and the rise of chronic diseases. He's spoken out against the influence of big food and the need for healthier diets, and these are important issues that deserve attention. But here's the thing, you can't be pro-health while also being anti-vaccine. Vaccines are one of the most effective public health interventions ever developed. It's like saying you're all about fire safety, but you refuse to install smoke detectors because you think they cause cancer. It's illogical, it's dangerous, and it undermines any credibility you might have had. Section 8, a legacy tarnished, the price of misinformation in the age of public health. RFK Jr. comes from a legacy of public service. His father and uncle dedicated their lives to fighting for social justice and a better America. But with his anti-vaccine rhetoric, RFK Jr. is tarnishing that legacy. He's choosing to align himself with fearmongers and conspiracy theorists instead of scientists and doctors. He's choosing to prioritize his own misguided beliefs over the health and well-being of millions, and history will not judge him kindly for it. Section 9, everyone.